First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while learnt his truth, and also to those elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is Trump signs executive orders launching Genesis mission. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope to sweep you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start the daily lesson, I have a news report here by Kwansha. And it reads, it said, the Genesis mission, American bold leap to unite AI and science in a modern Manhattan project. It says here, in a sweeping executive order signed by President Donald J. Trump on November the 20th, 2025, said the United States has launched the Genesis mission, said a national initiative designed to consolidate the nation's vast AI and scientific resources into a single unified powerhouse. So this is exactly what we've been constantly warning you about right here. You know, they are getting ready to put this new digital infrastructure into place. What's going to be dealing with your biometrics, going to be dealing with blockchain technology, also CBDC, this new money. All these things is getting ready to tie into one. This is exactly what we've been telling you about. Also, they want total control. So we know right now, 2026, things is going to get ready to go fully digital. This is exactly what the men of the Lord constantly been warning you about, starting with the elders and the apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, also the men that have the affiliate camps, the likewise doctrine, to follow the same doctrine of GMS, that has the 100% truth. So we seeing right now that this is coming a reality now. It is here. It is at the door. And also this is the reset that they're trying to bring forward. You will own nothing and be happy, under total surveillance. You know what I'm saying? We seeing all these things are coming together left and right. So they trying to put everything into one big digital system, one digital infrastructure that they're putting it together. So right here, this is a major move, right? And this is very prophetic. And the Lord constantly warning you about it left and right. So, unified powerhouse. So, this sound like the Great Reset, also the NWO, you know what I'm saying? So this is exactly what this run into. We already knowing about the kind of like going like in warp speed, speeding the process up, because he's seeing that his days are determined. This man to get ready to come down with great wrath. In the middle of the Lord, we constantly been warning you about left and right, in that day, when these things come to pass, in that day you shall know that a prophet was among you. So these things are coming to pass. So right now we're very close than ever. You know what I'm saying? The MOTB, it is here, it's at the door. So it ain't gonna be right now, what if some don't believe, it's right before your eyes. So let's get a little bit more of this report. This is very, very, very prophetic right here, and this is exactly what they're getting ready to do. So they're getting ready to crash the old system and bring in this new digital programmable and also implantable system that would go under your skin, also in your forehead. It said Trump signs executive orders to launch Project Genesis mission. And I already know Genesis mean the beginning, but it's going to be the beginning of the end of them. You know what I'm saying? Esau is the end of the world, of this age. And Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So that's where we at right now. We at the end of this man's rulership. At the end of, Esau queendom. It says here, it said dubbed the modern Manhattan Project by the White House officials. This program aims to accelerate groundbreaking discoveries by leveraging artificial intelligence across federal agencies, national laboratories, and private industry. So right here, this is hooking everybody up to this this new 5G and 6G blockchain system, and also it's going to be working with your biometric once again, AI, robotics, also the Internet of Bodies to make you the Internet of Bodies to make you a walking device. So we already know they're gonna do away with what you call the so-called smartphone, also these wearables, because you're going to become the smartphone. You're going to become a walking device, getting ready to connect you to the Internet of Bodies. This is exactly what this is going into. So everything is getting ready to go digital. You know what I'm saying? Coming 2026. So now we coming into these times now. You know, Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. Exactly what we constantly been warning you about. So this is major, very, very major. So we already know about Palantir, you know, that new digital data infrastructure they're putting in to put you in a new database, you know, to bring you in this new database. That's why they're setting up this what you call this hope I'm not confusing anyone, but that's why they telling you about, you got to get, you know, telling you about this digital ID. So the digital ID is already here. So we know eventually these things are going to be mandatory. Right now they're saying that, you know, it's voluntary, but we know that these things are going to be mandatory. It's going to be forced on you. Everyone on the planet is going to be a global event like we have never seen before. So we seeing right now, it says about the Manhattan, the Manhattan Project. So we already know this is dealing about, I think that's back in World War II when this came out, when he was first developing the nuclear bomb, that atom bomb, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I had to look at that again. But anyway, I know it's dealing with nuclear devices. That's what that Manhattan Project was all about. And it's talking about this, the modern day Manhattan Project. So all the different technology they're getting ready to release at one time, like, you know, like different it's something I think it's about different type of technology. We already knowing about the robots. We knowing about the drones. We knowing about they got these new healing chambers. A lot of different things. They getting ready to try to speed up the process, whatever like that. But we already know they're only gonna speed up what their own demise. Let's see here. Let's get a little bit more of this. He said, while project like Microsoft Stargate have dazzled with eye-watering investment up to 500 million over 4 years. You'll see, it says 4 years for AI infrastructure. Genesis stands out for its unprecedented scale coordination, uh, mobilizing existing assets on a level not seen since the Apollo program. So this right here is very major, you know. You get around to, you go back and look up this report. You know, I'm not going to read too much more of it, but I got some video to bring it out with a little bit more, you know. I read, you know, enough to try to give you a little, some edification on this, you know. So we seeing right now, we're so very excited because now they putting the system into place right before and also, they was already building those supercomputers. I think they had one in, I think it was Memphis, Tennessee. I know it was in Tennessee, and they had another one in God, I can't think. It was some part of Texas. It was another big data supercomputer center that they was building down there. So now they have all the things in place. They have the green light. So right now they putting all this together into one. This is the global reset, what we was constantly telling you about. But this is all through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Abishai. So we seeing now at the end it shall speak and not lie. So now things are getting ready to go fully digital, programmable, also implantable. That grain of rice, it is already here. The reset is here, you know. So we already know they get ready to phase out the old system and bring in this new system. And one thing about it, it's going to be mandatory, you know, and also the hour of temptation, Jacob trouble. And also we know that the war drums are constantly beating. You know, we can't hardly keep up with all this information, but hey man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, you know what I'm saying, you would get it. You know what I'm saying? The election has attained, and the rest was blinded. So right here, once again, Genesis' mission to America bold leap to unite AI and science in a modern Manhattan Project. You know what I'm saying? When you get around to look up the Manhattan Project, it's saying that it's modern day, but I know it was dealing with the nuclear missiles back then, the atomic bomb and all that development back then. They speeding up the process, trying to get ahead of China and Russia. But one thing about it is the Lord is speeding these things up. The Lord is moving the chess pieces around. So the Lord, he controlled the minds of the, you know what I'm saying? He controlling everything. The Lord's a master chess player. So let's get this one right quick. Let's go here. I start here, Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 8. It said, the prophet that had been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and evil and a pestilence. So one thing about it, that's what we constantly been warning you about. The prophets, the spirit of the prophets subject to the prophets. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, if you were a prophet back then, you're prophesying right now. And a prophet only means to say before. You know what I'm saying? The prophesy to say before. So right now, that's what we constantly been warning you about. We've been warning you about war, we've been warning you about disaster, disease, all sorts of calamities. We've been telling you about the MOTB. We've been telling you about the devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath. It is here. It is at the door. And also we know that these things gonna get more and more worse as we goes on into 2026. So we hoping that it'd be our great deliverance. We seeing right now that these prophecies right now are lining up just like clockwork. It's obvious and clear that we're here. These things are already in place. So this man to get ready to try to put his NWO into place, or this 2030 agenda, or what, Project 2025. So we already know we at the end of 25, get ready to go into 26. We already knowing that 2025 was a hell of a year. Verse 9, it says, the prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord had truly sent him. So you getting ready to find out that these men that, a lot of people scoffing and mocking, all they wearing the dreaded teaching hate speech. They don't know what they're talking about. Lord love everyone, everyone can be saved. That's what a lot of these scoffers been saying, going up against the men of the Lord. When we tell you that salvation is only for Israel, you know what I'm saying? The Negroes, the Latinos, the Native Indians, but you getting ready to find out who the Lord is dealing with very soon. So, the Lord's going to make it plain, and also we already knowing that at the end it shall speak and not lie. You know what I'm saying? It's not delaying anymore. Let's go here to Habakkuk. I've been quoting this, Habakkuk chapter 2 and let's go straight to the point. Verse 3 said, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Said, but at the end, it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So that's exactly what's happening. We seeing these things picking up. We seeing right now the vision, what the signs of the time, the prophecies right now. They're not delaying. They're being manifested. They're being being revealed right before our eyes. What we constantly seeing left and right. It is happening. We're here. This is the reset. You know what I'm saying? They get ready to phase out this old system and bring in this new system. That's why they bring everything together into one, the NWO, total control, and not about to make you a petrol slave. So now I got these videos. Now the video will start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
Listen up, y'all, this is crazy. So today Trump announced that he's launched the Genesis mission to build an AI platform. It says the Department of Energy will lead the effort to craft the American science and security platform, which will unite supercomputers, AI, and quantum systems. I don't find it a coincidence that he picked the name Genesis. It is the first book of the Bible, and it means beginning, but there's so much more to this. He's consolidating the nation's vast AI and scientific resources into a single, unified powerhouse. This thing is going to be run off powerhouses like Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. You know where this thing is. And they're calling it the Modern Manhattan Project. That project was a research and development program during World War II that made nuclear weapons. But that's not all. For the first time in history, the government is trying to unify all these systems together. All federal scientific data sets, all national laboratory supercomputers, all major AI models, all simulation environments, and all robotic experiment platforms. This creature will be a living system. The data pipelines are the nerves. The labs and supercomputers are the organs. The federal AI models is the brain. The robotic labs are the hands. And the sensor and data sets are the eyes. This isn't a program. It's the creation of a national digital organism. Let me remind you, Revelation chapter.
The Trump administration is pushing to expand AI in federal scientific research. Yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order launching the Genesis mission. The plan allows Department of Energy national labs to use AI while partnering with tech companies and universities. Supporters say it could boost research in physics, chemistry, nuclear science, and space exploration, but critics warn the move could drive up energy use and raise safety concerns if regulations are weakened.
President Trump just signed one of the most sweeping technology orders in American history, a plan called the Genesis mission, and the White House is comparing it to the Manhattan Project. Yes, the Manhattan Project that built the atomic bomb, but this time, the weapon is artificial intelligence. The order creates a national AI effort meant to supercharge research, access massive federal data sets, expand supercomputers, and accelerate breakthroughs in energy, biotech, quantum computing, robotics, even nuclear fusion. Administration officials say this will be the largest mobilization of federal scientific resources since the Apollo program. And what's their goal? To keep U.S. ahead of China, lower energy costs, and turbocharge scientific discovery. Under the Genesis mission, the Department of Energy will build a new national computing platform linking America's supercomputers, federal labs, and scientific data sets, the largest collection of scientific data on Earth. The idea is to let researchers and industry use AI to run experiments, test new hypotheses, design materials, simulate fusion plasma, discover drugs, and automate entire research pipelines. But here's the controversy. The administration wants as little regulation as possible. They're already signaling they may try to stop individual states from passing their own AI laws, and even cut federal aid to those states that do. The White House is framing this as a race for global technology dominance, and they're leaning heavily on private sector partnerships. NVIDIA, AMD, Dell, HPE, and more are already involved in building next-generation supercomputers. The bottom line? The Genesis mission is massive, aggressive, and unlike anything the U.S. has done in tech since the Cold War. To supporters, it's a long overdue moonshot. To critics, it's a barely regulated AI arms race. Either way, this is a turning point.
Donald Trump warning, listen. Breaking news, the President of the United States signed the executive order. Bad news, it's not cryptocurrency. This involves AI. I told you, you need to research crypto, blockchain, AI, and central bank digital currencies. The President earlier today signed the executive order for launching the Genesis mission, where AI is going to be researched, looked into heavily in America. Remember when I told you Donald Trump plans to make this country the capital hub of crypto and AI? This shows you proof he is not lying. This also confirms you and I are in the middle of the great wealth transfer. The digital era is here. You can no longer deny this. Right now is the opportunity to take advantage, because crypto adoption, AI adoption is not slowing down anytime soon. Make sure to share this information with as many people as possible. Let them know the truth.
So we're seeing right now that everything is getting ready to go digital right before our eyes. Exactly what we constantly been warning you about left and right. We've been warning you about this evil time of trouble that we have never seen before. So now they are constantly putting it into place right before your eyes. Also, this man is constantly signing executive orders left and right in warp speed. So let's go here first. So we seeing they setting up this new world order right before your eyes. We seeing it. Let's start here. Psalm chapter 64 and verse 2 said, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, said, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Said verse 3 said, who whet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Said verse 4, it said that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Verse 5, here's the point, said, they encourage themselves in a evil matter. They commute of laying snares privately, said, they say, who shall see them? So this is what they're doing right now, putting it together, you know what I'm saying, this NWO, this total control, this digital infrastructure, you know what I'm saying, this digital society, this cashless society, you know, this is going to be dealing once again with your biometrics, you know what I'm saying, social credit score, universal basic income, you know what I'm saying, artificial intelligence, robotics. These things are coming into play. We constantly want it's already here. It's here. You know, he's rolling it out. Could, you know, just like a lot of people say, could this be the possible reset? Well, he's showing you it's going to be the reset because everything is coming into this system, you know, coming under the one world, government, one world religion, you know what I'm saying? One world currency. That's exactly what we're seeing left and right. We're seeing that the heathens are raging, so they constantly encouraging themselves in an evil plan. You know how to set their trap. Let's read it in the NLT. It says they encourage each other, said, to do evil and plan how to set their traps in secret. Who will ever notice they acts, and that about the Lord would notice, you know what I'm saying? The true believers, you know what I'm saying? Started with the prophets and the great multitude. We see exactly what's going on. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Verse 6 says, they search out iniquity. They accomplish a diligent search. Both their inward thoughts, say, of every one of them, say, and the heart is deep. So this man right here, you know, he's very deep. He's putting it together. This digital infrastructure, you know, this Palantir, this blockchain technology, all these things working together with those supercomputers they have in Tennessee. They have one in Texas. You know, they already got everything together. You know, going to roll everyone under this system. Then if you do not comply, you know, you will be unalive. These things are coming. We constantly warning you left and right. So I think that's all I want to get out of this one here. Well, let's get a little bit more. It says, verse 7 said, but the Almighty shall shoot at them with a arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So the Lord's getting ready. He's going to bring this man down very soon. The Lord's going to cast the fury of his wrath upon him. You know, that indignation. We cannot wait. IBCM missiles also that lays in fire is right around the corner. Verse 8 says, so they shall make their own tongues to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So exactly what we constantly been seeing is left and right. Their tongue constantly falling upon themselves. Their tongue is constantly condemning them, you know, left and right, you know. So the Lord is constantly, you know, setting the Egyptian against the Egyptian, or the American against the American, you know. We're seeing that this nation is very divided right now. And also we're seeing right now DJ Donald Trump is constantly moving faster and faster. He's ramping it up. You know what I'm saying? To get this, go ahead on and get it going, but see, but the Lord is putting the Spirit on him, you know. So let's get this one right quick. You know what I'm saying? We go this one here all the time. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1. So the Lord is controlling this thing. The Lord is speeding these things. So this lines up perfectly with what Matthew chapter 24, I think it's 21 and 22, or is it 20? We probably get that in a minute too. I want to butcher it. It says here, it said the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. So as the rivers of water, he turns it wheresoever he will. So the Lord is constantly controlling the minds of these leaders and these nations around the world. You know, everyone is doing the will of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, whether it's good or bad. So this man, he's putting the Spirit on this man to go ahead and get it done, because the Lord's getting ready to end this nightmare. So the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. So the Lord's calling these things to happen. The Lord's calling him these things to pick up left and right. We're seeing what time is constantly what accelerate. Let's go get this one right quick. Let's go to Matthew, back it up with Matthew chapter 24. I'll butcher it, might well get it now. Matthew chapter 24, I think it's around verse 21. Let's get it right quick. So we're seeing the Lord is causing these things to pick up. The Lord is accelerating time for the elect say, because it won't be no flesh saved alive, because this man will destroy himself. You know what I'm saying? The entire world, but the Lord is not going to let that happen. The Lord's getting ready to take this man out of rulership. Let's start here at verse 21. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. Verse 22 said, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be short. So that's exactly what the Lord is doing. So the Lord is controlling, time. The Lord is controlling the minds of these leaders around the world. DJ Donald Trump is only doing the will of Yahweh about Shem Yahushua. So that's where we at right now. It's here, it's at the door. So these things are happening. Let's read in the NLT. It said, in fact, so unless the time of calamity is shortened, said not a single person will survive, but it will be shortened for the sake of God's chosen one, which in fact is the elect. So the Lord is going to shorten the time. The Lord is going to come in on our behalf. Supernatural intervention is getting ready to come into place. So when this man put this system into place, he going to be coming with all this different technology. The Lord is going to have to give certain men around the world that spiritual power, to combine with this technology that this man, because we don't have any power, but the Lord have power. And the Lord said, we shall be his battle axe and weapons of war. So the Lord is going to give us that upgrade. All we must do is constantly trust and believe in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So this is the point where we at right now. This is it here, verse 13. Revelation 13, because this is where we at. This man is getting ready to implement this RFD microchip, which in fact is the mark of the beast. So that's why he's putting this system into play. Already telling you about the digital ID. This system is here. You know what I'm saying? All things are ready. They got the green light. So this is where we at. He said, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and call that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So one thing about it, we already know, that he got power. He's giving power to the image of the beast, to the what? To this system, to this digital infrastructure that they're putting into place, to this what? New world order, And this beast is the revised Roman Empire. So we seeing it taking place right before our eyes. And it said once again, anyone that would not consent or submit, should be what? Unalive. So that's exactly what's getting ready to happen. That's why they got these guillotines, these firing squad, different things are coming into play. A lot of people are getting ready to make a decision. A lot of people are going to line up like clockwork also, because, you already putting all sorts of things in place about these government assistance, these government, subsidies that, like people got food stamps, Section 8, they saying you got to, they're putting a more tighter grip on it. So a lot of people going to take that, under the skin. Verse 16 says, and he causes all both small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond to receive a mark to charagma in their right hand or in their forehead. So that's where we at right now. So they getting ready to introduce that 2026. So we living in some very prophetic time. The men of the Lord, we constantly been warning you about it left and right, starting with GMS. They had it right all the time through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. And one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to make our enemies look like fools very soon. And everybody shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. So right here, in order to be able to buy or sell in this new digital system that they're putting into play, they're constantly putting everything together into this one big super AI infrastructure. We're seeing it happening right before our eyes. Everything is ready. This man is imagining a vain thing. But the Lord is saying he will not be able to perform his enterprise. So we see it right now. They already have the chip. They already have the brain C-hip computer interface. They have all these things. It's already here, man. We constantly warn you at night, and you will not be able to make no type of transaction without having this system under your skin. We put it like that. Verse 17 says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark to charagma, the badge of servitude, said, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Talking about this system, So it's going to be dealing with what? Tracking and tagging, surveillance, QR codes, barcodes. You're going to be a walking barcode. Hey, we here, man. Verse 18 says, here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 600, 3 scores and 666, Chi Stai stigma, you know what I'm saying, goes into who you are going to bow down to, who you belong to. That's what it's coming down to, you know. A lot of people is going to take that digital oil. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna bow down to this system. They're gonna bow down to Esau Edom. You know what I'm saying? The so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. They're gonna trust in his system. They're gonna trust in his technology. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna trust in what he has to offer. You know what I'm saying? And you know, one thing about it, that the crumbs off of Esau's table. We will not bend the foe, even in death. The Lord said, I will give thee a crown of life. So we already know that some of us will be cast into prison, into these facilities. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of us are going to be, some of us going to be unalive. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about it, we know that a crown of life will be waiting on us. Well, that's what we're longing for each and every day. Those new bodies, immortality, rulership, spiritual power. That's what we're longing for each and every day. But the Lord said, he said this in Revelation chapter 3. We'll close out here. Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. You know, the Lord said he would keep thee from the hour of temptation, because what you kept the patient, you suffered, you endure, you know what I'm saying, for all sorts of adversity, through much tribulation, ye shall enter the kingdom of heaven. So that's where we at right now. So we see in the beginning stages of this beast system. We see in the beginning stages of the NWO, you know what I'm saying, total control, where everything will be digital, cashless, you know what I'm saying, programmable, also implantable. That's what we constantly warn you about, left and right. And a lot of people are going to take it, and you're going to be totally destroyed. It says here, Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10 says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, the suffering, said, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So that's where we at right now. The hour of temptation is fast approaching. The hour of technology, I call it that sometimes, you know what I'm saying, or the hour of what? Testing. So right now we coming upon that time, you know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, we already knowing that the Lord is only coming back for that 1/3 remnant. You know, the one that has to understand, that has the wisdom, that know exactly what is happening in these times that we're living in. And also we're living in the end time, real time. That's what we constantly want you, left and right. I was reading NLT, said, because you have obeyed my commands to persevere, so like persevere, so I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon the whole world, to test those who belong to this world. And that about it, a lot of people love this world, but we already know this world, which in fact this eon, this age, it is passing away. If you love it here, you're going to die here. That's what we constantly want you, left and right. You know, if you're not seeking the Lord, you're seeking death. So now, you know, we know it's not going to be any more vain divinations, no more the lands, no more polony. These things are right before our eyes. And also we know that the famine of the world is fast approaching. The Lord's getting ready to close this ministry down. You know what I'm saying? You know, the election had to taint it, and the rest was blind. That's what we constantly warning you about. It is here. It is at the door. There ain't no be no more back and forth. Oh, I don't believe this. I don't believe that. It's here. It's at the door. The Lord's getting ready to make a believer out of a lot of you unbelievers, and that about. And a lot of you are getting ready to be totally destroyed. The Lord's judgment is getting ready to come down like you have never seen before. And also the Lord's getting ready to show up and show out his great and glorious return. That's what we constantly warn you about. Left and right, our salvation is at the door. These prophecies are speaking loud and clear. It's time to seek the Lord while he can be found. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Trump signed executive orders launching Genesis mission. So I give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.